This past Dynamite was a really interesting one. It set up a lot of things going into All In. I'm going to be talking about the highlights specifically in this video. So I'm going to start off with MJF versus Mark BRISCOE. Now, I went into this knowing that Mark BRISCOE was not going to win the AEW World Championship because if you guys didn't know, if you didn't pay attention, this past AEW Forbidden Door, there was a 12-man match with MJF and the Don Callis family going against the Conglomeration. Now, the stipulation was that if the Conglomeration, which consists of Mark BRISCOE and his team, if he had beat MJF and the Don Callis family, he was going to receive a world title opportunity on Dynamite. Well, a world opportunity shot in general, but Mark BRISCOE won his title shot on AEW Dynamite the following Tuesday, and AEW Forbidden Door was on Sunday, so he won his title shot like immediately. So I went into this knowing that Mark BRISCOE was not going to win because why would they give Mark BRISCOE the title like this soon going into All In? Now, I don't know if MJF is going to be holding the title going into All In because MJF, I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not, but he's been doing this thing to where he's been defending the title a lot more on these Dynamites because he did it with Darby Allin, where he lost, and now he's doing it with Mark BRISCOE, and then he just had a match on the last Dynamite. So I'm like, MJF is putting this title on the line a lot. So I'm not sure if MJF is going to carry the title going into Wembley. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong. But yeah, MJF took the win against Mark BRISCOE in an 18-minute match. Really great match, very brutal. MJF really whooped his ass for real because Mark BRISCOE left that match bloody as hell. Now, how I feel about the stipulation into next week's world title match, because if you guys watch the show, you know that MJF is facing Kenny Omega, and MJF said he will give Kenny Omega said title opportunity if Kenny Omega agrees that if he loses against MJF in the world title match next week, that he will not ever challenge for the AEW World Championship again. Now, that is a big stipulation. He's done this before with Hangman Adam Page. And as you guys know, Hangman Adam Page has been nowhere to be found. And he hasn't challenged for the world title because he had that same stipulation put on him and he lost. So I don't know what they do. My prediction is that Kenny Omega is probably going to defeat MJF and take the title into All In to face Will Ospreay, because they've been giving Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega a lot of screen time recently with these backstage segments and him talking about, hey, I still love you like a brother. You need to watch your back with the Death Riders, etc., etc. Now, with Will Ospreay affiliated with the Death Riders, because Jon Moxley actually gave him an official Death Riders badge, because up until this point, Will Ospreay has been just an associate. He hasn't been an official member. But after Jon Moxley gave him the emblem of the Death Riders and he was wearing it, I guess this makes him an official member of the Death Riders. And the Death Riders, I mean, I guess you can call them a heel stable, but they've been like kind of tweener lately, so I'm not exactly sure what they are. I guess they're just tweener. But with Will Ospreay being associated with them, will Will Ospreay go into Wembley like as the heel? Because this is Will Ospreay's home turf, so if anybody's going to get the fan favorite reaction, it's going to be Will Ospreay, because this man right now is white hot. This man has got to win the title at All In. So I do believe that Will Ospreay is going to be facing Kenny Omega at All In for the world title. Now, that is going to be a banger match. But Will Ospreay, man, this man, ever since he came back from injury, he's been on fire, man. Like, this man is part of the Death Riders. This man won the Owen Hart tournament final match. Like, he got security spot at All In. Like, if Will Ospreay does not win the title at All In, I don't know what we're doing. This man has got to win the world title. It's got to be locked in the plans. I'm not sure what you do with him if he doesn't win. But I guess he wants to win the title off of Kenny Omega, because let's be honest, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega is more interesting to me than Will Ospreay versus MJF at All In. Because I'm an MJF guy. Like, MJF is my number one in that well, he's 1A and 1B with Swerve, but MJF is my guy in that company. And for me to say that I'd rather have Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega at All In, that says a lot, because they have more story, they have more history. So I think Will Ospreay should face Kenny Omega at All In. I mean, they're kind of showing us what they want. So I believe Kenny Omega will be facing Will Ospreay for the world title at All In. Now let's get into my boy Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight faced Lio Rush. Lio Rush was the fan favorite in this match. The only thing is though, bro, is that I don't know what they're doing with Lio Rush on AEW Dynamite. I know he's the Ring of Honor champion right now, but I don't know where they're heading with Lio Rush. But Kevin Knight ended up winning this match, rightfully so, but Darby Allin came out after the match and he wanted a rematch with Kevin Knight for that TNT Championship. And Darby Allin said, if you don't accept this match, if you keep prolonging this, I'm going to make you suffer for as long as you don't accept my challenge. Now, as you guys know, you know what happened to him at AEW Forbidden Door. You know what happened to Kevin Knight. So pretty much Kevin Knight was about to accept it, but Don Callis said, no, we ain't accepting a challenge from a criminal, bro. We're not doing this. You a criminal. You harmed Kevin Knight. You could have killed him. I'm not giving you no TNT title match at all. But Kevin Knight ended up agreeing with Don Callis, like, you know what, yeah, you right. You're not getting no title match from me because you tried to kill me. It ain't finna happen, bro. And then Don Callis said the Don Callis family is going to protect Kevin Knight from Darby Allin. Now, I don't know how long they can keep this up. I don't know how long that they can keep Kevin Knight safe from Darby Allin, but we'll see. This should be an interesting feud. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to keep my eye on it, but Kevin Knight should not be losing that title at all. I don't care if it's to Darby Allin. I don't care who it is. Kevin Knight should not be losing. He just got that title. Another thing that happened on this Dynamite is that they had the TBS Survival of the Fittest match. Now, I'm going to say something that I didn't like about this. I didn't like the fact that Queen Aminata, like, she basically got whooped for majority of the match. I'm like, bro, like, how you get whooped for majority of the match? You get a little offense in, and then you're like, what, the third or fourth woman eliminated? Like, bro, come on. Y'all are playing with Queen Aminata. But if you guys didn't know, Hikaru Shida won the TBS title. So she pinned Chris Statlander from the assistance of Persephone, because Persephone ended up striking Chris Statlander in the face with the TBS World title, causing Hikaru Shida to get the roll-up pin or pinfall on Chris Statlander, crowning her as the new TBS Women's Champion. That was a great match. I did like the showing. I love the variation of styles in the match. But this match was really good. I enjoyed it. But overall, dude, I did enjoy Dynamite as a whole. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch Collision this week because I'll be working for Collision. But for me, Dynamite was, I would give it probably I would give it a B+. It was a solid show. Did what it needed to do, is forwarding and progressing stories. But let me know what you guys liked about Dynamite in the comments down below. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.